Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please join us for the invocation mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudирयेत् Shravatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto Hya Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhatsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are covering gems from Srimadbhagavatam. Verses are Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 28 and 29. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriyaha, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha, Vasudeva Paro Dharmo, Vasudeva Paragatihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is for realizing Him. All fruitive activities are ultimately awarded by Him only. He is supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know Him. Religion dharma is rendering loving service unto Him. He is the supreme goal of life. Hare Krishna, please join us for Guru Pranati. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tadaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, in this verse, some amazing revelations are given. Vasudeva para Veda. So, Vedesh sarvar aham eva Vedya in Srimad Bhagavatam, or in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, the 15th verse is where he is revealing that I am to be known by all the Vedas. So, here this is also revealed Vasudeva para Veda. So, in the revealed scriptures, the purpose of knowledge, the object of knowledge, the purpose to know Him. Every subject matter has a purpose, right? And the subject matter, the purpose is to know Krishna. So Vasudeva. Vasudeva has two meanings. Vasudeva, first meaning is, in the primary name form is son of Vasudev. But the second meaning is he is present everywhere, omnipresent. That's also Vasudeva. One whose Deva, whose Vas is everywhere, Vasudeva. And when we realize this, okay, how can we apply it? So in this regard, there's a beautiful story of Dhruv Maharaj, right? So we have Chaturvarnam Mahashashtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is revealing that the four Varnas are coming from him. So he has established these four Varnas. So the Varnashram Dharma is established by Lord. So ashram refers to the shelter and varna refers to one's state, where one is either in a Brahman state, Kshatriya state, Vaishya state or Shudra state. And whoever is not in four varnas, then they are below the Shudras. And in Kali age, it is revealed in the scriptures, Kalo Shudra Sambhava, right? So it is very important for us to look from that perspective, from the eyes of the scriptures. Let's read the purport because you may get further insight, and then we'll dive further into the specific items. Devi, why don't you, do you want to read the purport?
Sure. Is the translation done?
Yes.
So, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, Prabhuji, I'll be reading one paragraph and we'll quickly have few other participants read the purport.
Sure.
That Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is the only object of worship is confirmed in these two shlokas. In the Vedic literature, there is the same objective, establishing one's relationship and ultimately reviving our lost, loving service unto Him. That is the sum and substance of the Vedas. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same theory is confirmed by the Lord in His own words. The ultimate purpose of the Vedas is to know Him only. All the revealed scriptures are prepared by the Lord through His incarnation in the body of Srila Vyasadeva, just to remind the fallen souls, conditioned by material nature, of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. No demigod can award freedom from material bondage. That is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. Impersonalists who have no information of the personality of Godhead minimize the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord and put Him on equal footing with all other living beings. And for this act, such impersonalists get freedom from material bondage only with great difficulty. They can surrender unto Him only after many, many births in the culture of transcendental knowledge.
So at the end, Srila Prabhupada is revealing that was Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyadvama Prapadyate. Hare Krishna.
I would like to ask if Sulaksha Mataji is available. She can read next paragraph.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, little louder. Your voice comes very low volume.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Okay. One may argue that the Vedic activities are based on sacrificial ceremonies. That is true, but all such sacrifices are also meant for realizing the truth about Vasudeva.
Sorry.
Oh.
That was my mistake.
Can I read from the book maybe?
Hold on. Prabhuji is sharing.
Yeah. I was trying to make sure that the computer voice is shared.
Okay. Another name of Vasudeva is Yajna, sacrifice. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that all sacrifices and all activities are to be conducted for the satisfaction of Yajna or Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. This is the case also with the yoga systems. Yoga means to get in touch with the Supreme Lord. The process, however, includes several bodily features such as asana, dhyan, pranayam, and meditation, and all of them are meant for concentrating upon the localized aspect of Vasudeva, represented as Paramatma. Paramatma realization is but partial realization of Vasudeva, and if one is successful in that attempt, one realizes Vasudeva in full. But by ill luck, most yogis are stranded by the powers of mysticism achieved through the bodily process. Ill-fated yogis are given a chance in the next birth by being placed in the families of good learned brahmanas or in the families of rich merchants in order to execute the unfinished task of Vasudeva realization. If such fortunate brahmanas and sons of rich men properly utilize the chance, they can easily realize Vasudeva by good association with saintly persons. Unfortunately, such preferred persons are captivated again by material wealth and honor, and thus they practically forget the aim of life. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Devi?
Hare Krishna. I would like to ask at this time, those of you who are available to read, please raise your hand because you may be having some environment around you where you can't read, so we don't want to call out the names. Very quickly, those who, Praladan and Prabhuji, please go ahead and read this next paragraph.
Thank you, Mata. This is also so for the culture of knowledge. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 items in culturing knowledge. By such culture of knowledge, one becomes gradually prideless, devoid of vanity, non-violent, forbearing, simple, devoted to the great spiritual master, and self-controlled. By culture of knowledge, one becomes unattached to hearth and home and becomes conscious of the miseries due to death, birth, old age, and disease. And all culture of knowledge culminates in devotional service to the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Therefore, Vasudeva is the ultimate aim in culturing all different branches of knowledge. Culture of knowledge, leading one to the transcendental plane of meeting Vasudeva, is real knowledge. Physical knowledge in its various branches is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita as agnan, or the opposite of real knowledge. The ultimate aim of physical knowledge is to satisfy the senses, which means prolongation of the term of material existence and thereby continuance of the threefold miseries. So prolonging the miserable life of material existence is nuisance. But the same physical knowledge leading to the way of spiritual understanding helps one to end the miserable life of physical existence and to begin his life of spiritual existence on the plane of Vasudeva. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mhm.
The same applies to all kinds of austerities. Tapasya means voluntary acceptance of bodily pains to achieve some higher end of life. Ravan and Hiranyakashipu underwent a severe type of bodily torture to achieve the end of sense gratification. Sometimes modern politicians also undergo severe types of austerities to achieve some political end. This is not actually tapasya. One should accept voluntary bodily inconvenience for the sake of knowing Vasudev, because that is the way of real austerities. Otherwise, all forms of austerities are classified as modes of passion and ignorance. Passion and ignorance cannot end the miseries of life. Only the mode of goodness can mitigate the threefold miseries of life. Vasudeva and Devaki, the so-called father and mother of Lord Krishna, underwent penances to get Vasudeva as their son. Lord Shri Krishna is the father of all living beings. Bhagavad Gita 14.4. Therefore, he is the original living being of all other living beings. He is the original eternal enjoyer amongst all other enjoyers. Therefore, no one can be his begetting father, as the ignorant may think. Lord Shri Krishna agreed to become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki upon being pleased with their severe austerities. Therefore, if any austerities have to be done, they must be done to achieve the end of knowledge, Vasudeva. Anyone else would like to read?
I can read. Should I read?
Who is it?
Hare Krishna. Mataji, I am reading. Vasudeva is the original personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. As explained before, the original personality of Godhead expands himself by innumerable forms. Such expansion of forms is made possible by his various energies. His energies are also multifarious, and his internal energies are superior and external energies inferior in quality. They are explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.4 to 6 as para and apara prakritis. So his expansions of various forms which take place via the internal energies are superior forms, whereas the expansions which take place via the external energies are inferior forms. The living entities are also his expansions. The living entities who are expanded by his internal potency are eternally liberated persons, whereas those who are expanded in terms of material energies are eternally conditioned souls. Therefore, all culture of knowledge, austerities, sacrifice, and activities should be aimed at changing the quality of the influence that is acting upon us. For the present, we are all being controlled by the external energy of the Lord. And just to change the quality of the influence, we must endeavor to cultivate spiritual energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who are Mahatmas, or those whose minds have been so broadened as to be engaged in the service of Lord Krishna, are under the influence of internal potency. And the effect is that such broad-minded living beings are constantly engaged in the service of Lord without deviation. That should be the aim of life. And that is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. No one should bother himself with fruitive activities or dry speculation about transcendental knowledge. Everyone should at once engage himself in transcendental loving service of the Lord. Nor should one worship different demigods who work as different hands of Lord for creation, maintenance, or destruction of the material world. There are innumerable powerful demigods who look over the external management of the material world. There are all different assisting hands of Lord Vasudeva. Even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are included in the list of demigods, but Lord Vishnu or Vasudeva is always transcendently situated. Even though he accepts the quality of goodness of the material world, he is still transcendental to all material modes. The following example will clear the matter more explicitly. In the prison house, there are prisoners and the managers of the prison house. Both the managers and the prisoners are bound by the laws of the king. But even though the king sometimes comes in the prison, he is not bound by the laws of the prison house. The king is therefore always transcendental to the laws of the prison house, as the Lord is always transcendental to the laws of the material world.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So now, Vasudeva Paraveda. We heard about, Lord Krishna revealing this to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Vedescha sarver aham eva vedya. So the purpose of Vedas is to know him. And Srila Prabhupada reveals this, that many Vedantists, they are arguing that, they're speculating on that knowledge. They're trying to read Vedas, but without Krishna, without Vasudeva, without Vishnu. And that is their fault. Why? Because it's very important when we take up a subject matter, we should know why are we taking up the subject matter, what's the purpose. Everything we do in our life has a purpose. For example, we get human birth. So what's the purpose of human birth? To go back home, back to God. It's a perfect boat to cross over this ocean of nations, this material world. And how do you cross over? By engaging our mind, body, and senses in the service of the Lord. Now, in these gems of Srimadbhagavatam, especially this gem of these two verses are revealing something very amazing that is true for all Varnas as well as for all ashrams. So we'll pick up the ashrams first and then we'll dive into the Varnas. Yet at the same time, this question can be asked that when we are engaging, if the goal is Lord Krishna, then how do we perceive that goal? That goal is by engaging everything, understanding the purpose, understanding the final goal, and the goal of human birth is understood. Similarly, brahmacharya in the young age, what is the purpose? People acquire knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport very nicely reveals that the physical knowledge that we get in this content material world is for sense gratification. It is not to understand Vasudeva. It is to further bind us in this material universe. And that is a state of anath, not sanath. So in this regard, there is a beautiful story where in Srimadbhagavatam it occurs that Dhruv Maharaj, he sees his father having Uttam Shloka, his younger brother, his half-brother, on his lap. So he wanted to climb his father's lap. And Suruchi, the stepmother of Dhruv Maharaj, she becomes angry. She pushes him down. And she says, you have to actually, worship the Supreme Lord, give up this life and take birth from my womb. And when she's saying such harsh words, which are piercing to Maharaj's heart, he sees that his father is not saying anything. Because she was his pet wife. Suruchi, Dhruv Maharaj's mother, was not the pet, not the favorite of the king. So now Dhruv Maharaj is upset and he goes and takes shelter of his mother. Now in our life, when we are born, who is the first mother? First guru? The mother is the first guru. And Dhruv Maharaj approaches his mother and she gives him the instruction. Suniti is the mother, yes. And Queen Suniti gives instruction to Dhruv Maharaj that you have to, it is said that Lord is in pure goodness. Of course, he is in jungle because that's where mode of goodness is more prevalent. And that's what she had heard from authorized sources. So now Dhruv Maharaj starts his journey, but what's his purpose? So he has also at this particular point misunderstood the purpose. He's thinking my purpose is not just to get a greater kingdom than my father, not just to get a greater kingdom, again, King Uttanpad, not just his father Uttanpad's greater kingdom than what Uttanpad has, but also even greater, not just a greater kingdom than what Manu has. Uttanpad is son of Swayambhuva Manu. He's saying, he's feeling that I would have a kingdom that's greater than my great-grandfather, Lord Brahma. With that mood he is going. So he has taken up a purpose in being a Kshatriya. He has this great determination. So again, every Varna has a quality. So he is in a Brahmacharya ashram. He is a Kshatriya. He is taking his path to go to jungle to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now somebody could say, wait a minute, if everything is for the satisfaction of Lord, how could this be justified? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, also it is very nicely revealed, and Srimadbhagavatam, akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Akama, if you have no material desire, no desire for sense gratification, otherwise sarva kamo, if you have all kinds of desire for sense gratification, and if you have neither of this but you want to get moksha, now this moksha is revealed with sayujya mukti. So there are 5 types of mokshas, liberation. So this moksha is referring to merging into Brahman. And Tivrena, what should one do? With great enthusiasm, with great zeal, one should engage in devotional service. Bhakti yogena yajate purusham paraman. Whose devotional service? Of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purusham Param. But when Dhruv Maharaj, he is heading to jungle, he receives instructions from Devashi Narad. He sees Naradji and says, Narad, first test Dhruv Maharaj. He says, you're just a boy, you're just a kid. You should not take such words so seriously. You should just play like all the other boys play at your age. But Dhruv Maharaj says, if you're going to help me, it's well and good. Otherwise, I'm on my way. So having qualified Dhruv Maharaj, he passes on the mode of how to worship the Lord. And so Dhruv Maharaj follows that instructions. So again, the purpose of human life is to please the Lord. The goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. And Dhruv Maharaj unknowingly is engaged in this devotional service. Just like last time we covered how Diti was tricked by her husband to engage in devotional service just so that she can get a son who would be the cause of Indra's death, who could kill Indra. So here the same aspect is coming. So in Brahmacharya, what is the purpose? Is to get Gyan, right? And Vasudev Param Jnanam, verse 29 talks about it. That purpose of Vedas is to approach and understand Lord Krishna, and the purpose of knowledge is to understand the object of knowledge, who is Lord Shri Krishna. So here we are seeing that Dhruv Maharaj is a perfect example. But when everything changes, when he sees the Supreme Lord in front of him, after following the process. And I was earlier referring, the Vedantis sometimes referred to as, the ones who used to be in Shankaracharya Sampradaya. Now many of those have become Vaishnavas by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciples and the devotees. By the influence of those devotees, many of them have become Vaishnavas. We have met some of the Brahmanas from Shankaracharya Sampradaya who are great Vaishnavas worshipping Lord Krishna. So again, that is the purpose. So they have understood the final message of Shankaracharya. Bhaj Govindam, Govindam Bhaj Bhunvate. So again, the final conclusion, even by Shankaracharya, is Bhaj Govindam. Bhaj is much bigger than worship. It refers to engaging in devotional service, the 9 process of devotional service. That's Bhaj. And Mudhamate, who should, one who is dull-headed, even he should engage in the worship of Lord Govinda. Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the senses, also means one who gives pleasure to the cows. Actually, there is a third meaning. Go also refers to earth. So one who gives pleasure to the earth. That's also one of the meanings. So now here, Dhruv Maharaj, when he's touched by the conch of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu appears and touches the conch on the head of Dhruv Maharaj. And instantly with that touch, he's completely purified of all the ignorance. So he's properly situated in his position, Jivera Surupaya Krishna Nityadas. And at that time, what is our true nature? That we are eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And here, when he is established in that state, he realizes that what he's asking, a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather, Lord Brahma, is like looking for glasses, while he has the true diamond. And what's that diamond? He reveals that, please give me an opportunity to serve my spiritual master. He is realizing that Devashi Nara's appearance was the greatest fortune. ब्रह्मांड भविते कौन भाग्यवान जीवा Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. That is the greatest fortune. That is the diamond he is talking about. That by, I had been wandering in this material universe by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, Chaitya Guru is Krishna, and the Diksha Guru, who's appearing a bona fide spiritual master, that we get Bhakti Lata Bij. We get the seed of devotional creeper that we plant in the proper soil of our heart. And finally it sprouts. And what is the watering process? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here we are seeing that Dhruv Maharaj is properly situated when he acquires perfect knowledge. In a brahmacharya state, he is as a balak, as a young boy. He has attained the goal from that perspective, and Lord blesses him that yes, you will return back to me. And he also awards him Dhruv Loka, which is also known as North Star. Now comes Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha. And Vasudeva is, all sacrifices is to please Lord Vasudeva, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So this is also part of the peace formula in Bhagavad Gita 5.29. Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surhidam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. Bhoktaram yagatapasam. So who's the beneficiary of all the sacrifices? Yagya, tapa, all austerities, and sam, and all other activities. Sarvalok Maheshwaram. And he is the supreme proprietor of all material universes and spiritual universes. So Lord reveals, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Everything emanates from me. So he is the cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So he is the Sarva Karana Karana. He is the cause of all causes. So everything is coming from Lord Krishna, and we should understand that everything is coming from him should be used in his service. So having established Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha. So all sacrifices should be performed for the pleasure of the Lordship. Vasudeva Para Yoga. All, the purpose of yoga means connection. If you want to develop any connection, then we have to again connect with the Lord. And that's why there are different kind of yoga processes, different way of connecting with the Lord. And of them, the best one is bhakti. Lord is known as Bhakta Vatsal. He is not known as Karmi Vatsal. He is not known as Jnana Vatsal. He is also not known as Hatyogi Vatsal. He is known as Bhakta Vatsal. There is a reason for that, because he gives himself to his devotees, and the devotees are very dear to him. Now, how can we understand the symptoms of his devotees? Well, Lord Krishna reveals this in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame veshasi satyam te pratijane priyasime. So, always think of him, Manmana. Bhava madbhakto, become my devotee. And then worship him, Madhyaji. Worship me, and then he's saying, Mam Namaskuru, pay obeisance unto me. And this way he will deliver it. Yet at the same time, when we talk about dharma prayojita, Kaitavatra Parmo. The very second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter. He is saying the Kaitava dharma is immediately rejected in Bhagavatam. What is this earth? Dharma, earth, kama, moksha. Why are they rejected? Because actually people are so much engaged in dharma, religiosity, so that they gain facilities for sense enjoyment. And the rituals, that's what that dharma refers to. And sometimes people think of religion and they perform various rituals and they're thinking this is religion. They're not realizing that true dharma is for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atah Pumbir Duja Sheshta. So we have to look at it from proper perspective. Varnashama vibhagasha swanushtistasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. So of this varnasham dharma, we have to be swanushtistasya dharmasya. We have to anushthan, we have to follow it as per the process. What should we follow? Our dharma. What is dharma means? Dharma is a true intrinsic nature, jivera surupaya Krishna nityadas. And all this, varnasham vivakasha, the very division of varna and ashram, the chatu varna maya system, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is the purpose of it is revealed in this verse. Some siddhir hari toshanam, that they should be performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we learn from the example of Dhruv Maharaj that, attaining the goal of life and the goal of brahmacharya is to develop this connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva para kriya. All activities are to be performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, how do we understand this? We carry out activities with three ways: mind, body, our senses, and words, by speech. So we have to engage all our activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like you all engage in Sravanam, right? And we are doing Kirtanam, we are doing glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sravanam is hearing, Kirtanam is chanting or glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we are constantly remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his various pastimes, as how he is Bhakta Vatsal. He's not known as Jnani Vatsal, he's not known as Karmi Vatsal. And so we have to understand from that perspective. Ye yatha mam prapadyate tam tathaiva bhajam yaham. So as one surrender unto me, Lord Krishna is revealing, he reciprocate accordingly. Now sometimes people say that Vasudeva para yoga. So this is referring to yogis, right? But what does Lord Krishna reveal in Bhagavad Gita? Who's the best yogi? Yogi nam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shaddavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamomata. Of all the yogis, the best yogi is one who is engaged in my devotional service. The best jnani is bahunam janmanamante jnanvamam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. So the best jnani is one who has understood that Vasudeva is the supreme goal of life, the only goal of life, the only object to achieve in this life. So here we see the example from Dhruv Maharaj's life. We also see the example from, we have so many personalities being discussed. From Amrish Maharaj, he's a king, another Kshatriya, who is a Grihastha. And he is so much dedicated in his service, in his devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Lord sends Sudarshan Chakra when Durvasa Muni tries to chastise and trying to punish the king. And at that time, Sudarshan Chakra destroys this demon produced from the matlocks of Durvasa Muni and tries to chase Durvasa Muni until Durvasa Muni falls at the lotus feet of King Amrish and asks for forgiveness. So that's another place where we see that a Brahmana is surrendering to a Kshatriya. Why? Because Brahmana is a Vedantist, while this Kshatriya is a Bhakta. So there are different levels. Yes, we understand Durvasa Muni is also an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Yet at the same time, we have seen Lord Shiva taking shelter of Lord Vishnu so many times. When Bhasmasu was chasing Lord Shiva, then also he took shelter of Lord Vishnu. So comes the 29th verse where it starts with Vasudeva Param Jnanam. So we talk about Brahmacharya, we talked about family life, Grahasthashram. Then comes Vanaprastha, where we have to limit our necessities of life. But when we reduce the needs of life, the time is still there. It has to be spent on what? Jnanam, engaging in devotional service, and that is the topmost service. But at the same time, those who are taken to Varnashram, they become very much attached to understanding the purpose well. So they also spend a lot of time in learning the scriptures, understanding the scriptures, and so forth. And Vasudeva Param Tapaha. So Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. So all yagyas and taps, they are to be performed for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all tapas, all austerities, sometimes we see that family men, they say, oh, I work day and night. Who am I doing this sacrifice for? For my family. Well, it's not sacrifice yet, because that's not the definition of sacrifice. What you're performing is an austerity. And you're performing that austerity not for your family, but in reality, indirectly for your own sense gratification. Because this feeling is there. When a baby is born, baby has immediate attachment to the mother. Then mother introduces father. So baby develops like, okay, this gentleman is nicely taking care of me. He's my father. My mother, loves him, and I love him, so forth. But then it expands further. This is all around sense gratification, one's identity as I am this body. Then one gets affinity towards one's family members, thinking, oh, these are my brothers and sisters. They are born from the same parents. They're very close to me. So that attachment, this is just an expansion of sense gratification. Because when we look from this material perspective, there is no Krishna in this particular, until the parents bring Krishna in the center and then bring everyone around it. There is a common saying that sometimes people say that if you have relationship, you develop relationship with Krishna and break relationship with others. No, we don't break relationship. We actually rejuvenate this relationship, transform it to bring Krishna in the center for everyone else. That is the purpose. And understanding that, yes, these are also sons and daughters of Lord Krishna who are surrounding us. And so we have to be loving with them. And even the person who we don't know, we are very, when we meet, we meet with great humility, with this mood that we should all engage in devotional service. That's why devotees are always engaged in talking about various activities around serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So, and then comes sannyasa ashram, right? So Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha. And in sannyasa ashram, there is great austerities that's performed. And all austerities, actually, in all ashram as well as in all varnas, there is austerity performed. To study, the students have to give up other, playful things and frivolous time that they would like to spend their time on, rather engaging in Shastra Gyan. So again, engaging in studying the Vedas and engaging in studying Srimadbhagavatam and learning about our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And finally, bringing up that, the mood through the prayers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, in this regard, when we have talked about two Kshatriyas, we did talk about one Brahmana, but there is another Brahmana who actually fell down by his position, and this is the glorification of the chanting of the holy name, Ajamil. He was a born Brahmana. He was a very good Brahmana, very good son of his father. He was learning Vedantas very well. And at that time, he got attracted to a prostitute. And he gave up his parents, he gave up his wife. His parents were very old, but he drove them out of the house. And he actually had many children through this prostitute. But at the last moment, when there were Yamdutas, the messengers of death, came to take his soul away, and that time he cried out, Narayan, Narayan. When he cried out Narayan, Narayan, it's not to call out the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was so materially attached to his son. You know, fathers, they are attached to their sons and daughters. So his son was praying, who was just 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old, close by. So he immediately called out, you know, thinking that his son may get harmed. So he called out his son's name. And what happened? Lord Vishnu even accepted that he's calling for me, and he sent Vishnu Dutas. So Vishnu Dutas appeared, and the Yam Dutas were held back. They were like told, no, he is completely purified because he had been chanting the holy name of the Lord. It's Lord Krishna. So here we see the glories that a little service, even unknowingly done, can save us from the greatest danger. Neha bikram nashasti prativayo na vidyate swalpam apasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. A little endeavor in devotional service can save us from the greatest danger in our life, revealed in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. So there is no diminution when we engage in devotional service. There is no loss. Everything is for our benefit. And Lord, he understands the mood, the attention. Yes, we talked about Putana, where he ignores the mood and he accepts the activities. This is showing that he's Swarat, he's completely independent to choose. And he has his own opinion. We may have our own opinion, but Lord has his own opinion. And we cannot push our opinion onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he's completely independent. However, we are dependent and bound by the various rules and regulations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his agents. Just like Srila Prabhupada gives the example of jail. In a jail, there may be many officers and maybe many prisoners, but all of them have to follow the rules set out by the king. But the king on his own is completely independent of those rules and regulations, is above them. So we have to understand things with proper perspective, Shastra Chakshu, from the eyes of Shastras. Now, Vasudeva Param Tapa, then comes Vasudeva Paro Dharmo. So the purpose of dharma, one's activities, one's dharma, one's occupational duty is Vasudev, to please Vasudev. Some Siddhir Haritoshanam, as we heard. Ata Pubbe Duja Sheshta Varnashama Vibhagasha Sonishtastasya Dharmasya Sam Siddhir Haritoshanam. So this is Sutta Goswami addressing the sages, the twice-born sages at Naimisharanya. He's saying, oh dear twice-born sages, you know, this purpose of Varnashram Dharma is there, which is splitting into the 4 ashrams and the 4 varnas, and everyone has to carry out their dharma, their activities. Now, dharma is referred to as intrinsic quality. Intrinsic quality of sugar is, it is sweet. Intrinsic quality of salt is that it is salty. Intrinsic quality of chili is that it is spicy or hot, you can say. And what's the intrinsic quality of a living entity of soul? Jivera Swarupaya Krishna Nityadas, that we are eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And until we engage in devotional service, we will always feel that void in our heart. So again, that's why we engage in devotional service. And when should we perform devotional service was another question sometimes people ask. And what should be the mode? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radho shajay ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. So if you really want to fill up this void in your heart, if you really want to seek the true pleasure, then you have to carry out the devotional service ahetuki without any self-motivated purposes, like for sense gratification of some comfort, and apratihata, and should not be interrupted. So we should carry out Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day we should carry out, read Srimadbhagavatam. We should seek an opportunity to serve devotees Bhagavata. So there are 2 types of Bhagavata, devotee Bhagavata and book Bhagavata. So we should seek out to serve both. And then, you know, Syan Mehat Sevya Vipra Punyatit Nishevana. So again, Shushusha Shaddadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi. So when we serve these devotees, what is the effect? That we get Shushusha Shraddha and Dhyan. So with great attention and faith, we get the attraction to hear Vasudeva Katharuchi, the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the name, form, activities, and pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Vasudeva Paragatihi, and Vasudeva is the ultimate goal of life. So this is the gist of what we read today in Srimadbhagavatam, these two gems. Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 28 and 29. Hare Krishna. Devi, would you like to add?
Hare Krishna, everyone. So, Prabhuji, that was really nice. I really love this verse amongst many other verses. So, no matter what stage of life we are in, these verses remind us that Supreme Lord is the ultimate purpose. Whether through knowledge or work or renunciation, if we remember Krishna, life becomes meaningful. So, I wanted to quickly talk about some practical tips to apply specifically these beautiful verses in daily life, because these verses, as we learned, they emphasize that all knowledge, work, austerities, spiritual practices should lead to Vasudeva, Krishna. So I think a quick talk about how we can apply this wisdom in different aspects of life will be really helpful for everyone. For example, when we wake up in the morning, we can start the day like the verse said, Vasudeva Parakriya. We can start day with, thinking of Lord. Those who can do it, they can wake up in Brahma Muhurat and begin their day with gratitude to God. They can chant Mahamantra, even if it's just one mala, which takes 5 to 10 minutes. They can read or listen to Srimadbhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. So they're engaging in Sravanam. And they can offer their daily activities to Krishna with a simple prayer. It can be as simple as, oh Lord, whatever I do today, let it be in your service. Then the second part said, Vasudeva Paradharma. So like you nicely explained, work and responsibilities. With respect to that, offer our efforts to Krishna. So we should view our work as a service to Krishna. And for example, many of us work in corporate jobs. We can adopt a mindset of doing our best as an offering to him. We can maintain integrity and ethics because Krishna, as a silent witness in our hearts, he's witnessing all our actions. If possible, we can listen to devotional music, spiritual lectures, Bhagavatam podcast while commuting or working, whatever way it suits. And we can, of course, have darshan of the Lord. Even at our workplace, many people like to keep small pictures to remind themselves of the ultimate purpose. And then it said Vasudeva Paramakha. So our food habits, even eating can be, a part of spiritual practice. Honoring sattvic vegetarian food. Krishna says he accepts simple offerings of fruit, water, grains made with devotion. And before even, when we place the offering in front of the deities, we can say, oh Lord, please accept this offering of love. And in this way, we can keep, that will be helpful for purifying our consciousness. Then, very important, all our relationships. Let us try to see, let's pray to see the hand of God in everyone. Vasudeva Paradharma. We can treat. So I'm talking here very quickly about practical application of the philosophy which Prabhuji just explained. So we can really apply it instead of thinking about it for years and years. I'm trying to benefit here everyone based on our life experience. We can treat family, colleagues, friends with respect, seeing them as Krishna's children. Everyone needs to improve on developing patience and forgiveness. So we can pray to remember that Krishna controls everything, and that will help in reducing stress, anger, and other areas in life. And in this way, we can work on ourselves and teach our children also these spiritual values by narrating to them, in whatever way works best. We can narrate these stories to them. So in this way, we can deal with challenges and difficulties in life by surrendering to Krishna. And we just heard Prabhuji, you nicely explained Vasudeva Param Gati. So whenever problems arise, we can see them as Lord's kindness, and that will help us to surrender. We can pray, Krishna, you are my only shelter, please guide me. We can chant and remember Lord's name during stressful moments instead of reacting impulsively. And of course, reading from Srimadbhagavatam and the pastimes, like you were saying, so many personalities, their pastimes are really beautiful reminders for us for spiritual strength. And at night, when we are ready to retire, we can end the day with Vasudeva Param Jnanam, with Lord's remembrance and expressing gratitude before sleeping. Thank you, Krishna, for guiding me today. As anybody would like to recommend, we can pray to always remember Krishna. We can mentally chant the holy names as we drift off to sleep. So this particular, the two verses, they help us. They guide us towards how we should remember Krishna in all activities. So our entire life becomes spiritualized. Even ordinary work and relationships become meaningful when connected to Supreme Lord. So Prabhuji, at this time, we would like to invite if anyone wants to share any reflections or has any comments or questions, please raise your hand and we can call out your name. So Prabhuji, if no one responds, let's chant together Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and by then if nobody raises hand, we can conclude the Bhagavatam call.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Niru Mataji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji, for this wonderful session. And the way Mataji summarized it as in some form of some practical applications of whatever Prabhuji taught us, that's really nice. We learn how to implement these learnings in our day-to-day life. That's really nice. Thank you, Mataji, and thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for actively listening and responding. Anyone else has to share any comments, anything from their realization and experience in spiritual life? All right.
Maybe you want to share that some new thing that you want to introduce based on the activities that Devi summarized. And it's always a great thing. We used to actually have an activity called Astachal back in school. And that was a time, Asta means Suryasta, which is the sunset time period. And we would take that moment to express gratitude to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. So that was a time to reflect on the day, and we would say, we are grateful for the guidance we received throughout the day and may continue to further engage. With that meditation, Yayatma Suprasiddhati, one's heart is fully satisfied. Yet at the same time, yes, some devotees, they are in so much eagerness, they want to do more. So they say, I could not do all these things for Krishna's service today. I will make an effort to do it more tomorrow. And they try to retrospect, introspect, and they try to reflect on what things they are going to do with the coming day so that they can serve better. This constant improvement is a sign of growth, just like a plant, a small seed sprouts into a plant and then becomes little bigger and finally into a tree and so forth. Hare Krishna. Gantra Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavad ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Have a wonderful week in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.